Welcome into a postseason edition of Rams Roundup here from Fordham University with the Fordham men's basketball team. It's head coach Jeff Neubauer, Matt Moro, along with you. And, Coach, congratulations on a successful season, certainly by Fordham standards. The first postseason since 1992. Your team invited to the CIT. It's a tournament you went to 2 of your last 3 years at Eastern Kentucky with an NCAA tournament in the middle. So what can fans expect from the CIT? What does it mean to make that postseason tournament?
Well, I think for this program, it's just a good first step, meaning that Fordham has not been in the postseason in a couple decades. And the fact that we do have 17 wins to this point, we've finished strongly, we've played very well at the end of the regular season. There's a lot to look forward to. With that being said, our goal is to get to the NCAA tournament. I have made it very clear to our team that this is simply developing the habit of playing in March. And so our guys need to look forward to every year continuing to play after the Atlantic 10 tournament, hopefully in the NCAA tournament in years to come.
Was that something you saw at your time at Eastern Kentucky, that developing a postseason culture there enabled you to get back year after year?
You know, if you would have told me 5 or 6 years ago that our Eastern Kentucky team going to the NIT in 2013 and winning a game would have helped us get to the NCAA tournament the next year, I wouldn't have believed in that. That wasn't the way I thought. But I really did see that. And so the fact that our team won a postseason game, and we actually did it on the road, for the first time in 69 years in EKU history, it felt like for our team that they had accomplished something. And so the next year they wanted something more, and we ended up playing in the NCAA tournament. So I really did feel that it helped our EKU program in 2013 and 14.
You mentioned that one of the goals for this team is to play after Atlantic 10 Championship Week. So let's look at your game in the Atlantic 10 Championship this past week against Richmond. You mentioned that they are a tough matchup for you. What were they able to present all year long that enabled them to get 3 wins?
Well, the biggest problem is just their skill level. So they really have one of the most explosive offenses in the country, and so they're very difficult for us to guard. And we knew that coming into the A-10 that Richmond was going to put 5 shooters on the court. It was going to be very difficult to match up with them, and it certainly was again. What they did differently in the Atlantic 10 matchup in Barclays was they pressed us, and that did give us some trouble. Our guards had a lot of turnovers, and it's something we're continuing to stress and hope to improve on.
Although your team did fall in their first matchup in the A-10 tournament, the team did finish strong with 4 in a row to get to that point, to get to the 8th seed. What was different about your team at the end of the regular season? What did they improve on the most to enable you to have 4 straight wins going into Barclays Center?
Yeah, so I think our team was consistent with their defensive effort throughout the season. I don't think that changed. I mean, our guys were trying their tails off, looking back all the way to our scrimmages before the year, all the way to the 4 consecutive regular season wins at the end. I think what really changed at the end is we played a little bit more confidently. Our value for the ball in those final 4 games was a lot better. And so just offensively, we made some steps. We didn't struggle as much at the offensive end.
Now, you mentioned that going to these kinds of tournaments can help develop the culture to get to the postseason, get used to winning in March. But for a couple of impact players for you, this is their final March at Fordham. Ryan Rhoomes, Mandel Thomas in particular. What does it mean for those guys, for you as the coach, to see them get to their first postseason past A-10s? What does that mean to you?
Well, I think they should be proud. And we've talked to them all season long, and we've talked to them here in the last week that, you know, when we talk about Fordham basketball developing a championship mentality, it has begun with this team. I mean, this team has overachieved. This team has done things that were not expected. This team is in postseason play. So we haven't done everything that we want to do. I mean, and there's a future here. But what we have done is we've taken the first step.
Now, this first game of the CIT is home against Boston University. Does that give you guys any bit of advantage being able to play the first round game at Rose Hill Gym?
It's a good question. So we'll see. You know, the way to find out is to play the game. What I do know is there are only good teams left this time of year. So there are no bad teams in any of the postseason tournaments. We are playing against a very good BU team, very well coached by Joe Jones. They're also experienced. They've got great size. They've got 2 guys that are 6'10" or bigger. And so it really is a challenging matchup. And, again, like I mentioned, they are healthy now. Boston U has not been completely healthy all year, but they do have their guys back for this game.
Do you find that maybe a similarity between the two squads, that BU is a team that's been affected by injuries all year, as has your team as well?
I think a lot of teams, you go through the college basketball season, and especially with all the demands that are placed on young players these days, playing AAU all summer, their bodies, our players' bodies are really worn. They've been through a lot of battles, a lot of wars, so you see it all around the country.
Over the course of the season, obviously, if you keep winning, it's not going to be over yet. But as we get near the end of this season, what's maybe one or two things that you've seen your team improve on, or maybe some things that you've learned about your team the most over the course of this year?
Yeah, I think individuals have improved, and so that's important. We stress to each guy that it's his job to improve every day, but also as a team. I think our team chemistry has really been good. Even when we were 3-9, and we were 3-9 in the A10 at one point, our team stuck together. And so our team has been tested in a lot of ways, and we've handled different adversity.
3 teams going to the Atlantic 10 or to the NCAA tournament out of the Atlantic 10 this year, and St. Joe's the tournament winner, VCU, and Dayton. In your first year in the Atlantic 10, is there anything that you learned about the conference itself?
I believe the skill level this year was much higher than it's been in the A10. And so just watching film from previous years, especially last year in the A10, the Atlantic 10 was a huge athletic, just a really long athletic league. This year, a lot of teams put 5 skilled guys on the court, which I think was a different MO for this conference.
Coach, thanks so much. Good luck in the first game in the CIT against Boston University. We'll see you out there. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Matt.
That's head coach of the Fordham men's basketball team, Jeff Neubauer, joining us on Rams Roundup. Now pleased to be joined on Rams Roundup with senior forward Ryan Rhoomes. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Now you're playing in your first postseason past the A10 tournament. Fordham hasn't been in a postseason tournament since the NCAA tournament in 1992. What does it mean to you and maybe some of the upperclassmen like Mandel to finally reach past the Atlantic 10 tournament and getting to the CIT this year?
I think it means a lot more to us because we've been here when we've been really bad and struggling as a team. Freshmen don't really know that you only could hear stories, things like that, but we actually lived through it. So it means a lot to us. We've never been here, never won 17 games, so we're really proud of ourselves.
Was this an expectation for you? Was this a vision for you before the season? How does this season stack up to what you thought it might be coming into the year?
I didn't know what to expect. I just knew Neubauer was a good coach. I kind of thought it was going to be the same thing, same thing we've been doing with 3 years. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I didn't know I was going to be playing so well. I thought I was, having the regular season I've been having. So I'm really pleased with the way, everything's been working out for us.
What do you think are some of the factors or reasons that not only your season has been above expectations, but the entire team has beat expectations this year as well?
I think we just go outside of our comfort zone. We're defending more, obviously. Everybody's just trying to work hard. Everybody's out there, trying to actually play basketball instead of, just going to get things for themselves. It's more of a team-oriented team right now. So I think everybody just has a good understanding on, of what basketball really is now, which is why we're playing so well.
Now, you were named third team All-Atlantic 10 this season. Joseph Chartouni was the Rookie of the Year in the conference, so well-deserved accolades for the both of you. And you were the two who talked to the media after the loss to Richmond in the Atlantic 10 championship, and you both stressed that, you wanted to go past this point, and, for you a senior and him a freshman, you guys wish that you'd have more time to play together. Does that speak to the chemistry that this team was able to pull together with older guys like you, younger guys like him, and an entirely new staff?
Yeah, I think so because, when everything starts gelling together, it's Coach Neubauer's first year and, freshman's first year, and his first year we've been actually winning. So I think it's kind of a heartbreaker that, we don't have more time together because everything's finally coming together. But, it is what it is. Hopefully within the next few years, Joe's sophomore year, everything goes well for them as well. And hopefully Coach Neubauer turns this tournament, this conference around.
For you and Mandel, we'll talk about Mandel for a little bit because he's a guy who, down the stretch, people who watched him know he would love to be out there full strength and contributing at full strength, but a bit banged up after going down in the middle of the conference season. What have you seen from him that showed you maybe anything you didn't know about him, or is it, the fact that you spent so much time together, did you expect him to come back and really give all that he had down the stretch like he has?
Yeah, of course I expected him to come back. And, he's a competitor. He's one of our best players. He's been one of our best players for years. So I knew he wasn't just going to, sit on the bench and not try. He's giving it all he has. He went out there. made a couple of threes, defended well. So, I can't really ask more of him because he's hurting. So I'm real proud of him for, sticking it out and toughing it out.
Confidence is something that you've talked about personally with your game throughout this season, and is one of the big factors why you're able to have this career year. Is that still the case now near the end of the season? Is your confidence still getting higher by each game?
Oh, yeah, my confidence is at the most it's ever been right now. I'm just been going out there and trying to play hard, trying to get my team to win. And right now it's more important than ever because, we want to prove everybody that, we're really good. 17 wins is impressive, but, we want a lot more. We expected a lot more this year. But, my confidence is as high as it's ever been. I'm just going out there trying to play, hopefully it leads me to my next career, after college. So pretty happy with the way I've been playing this year.
And lastly, at least one more game here at home. If you win, it depends on what other teams do, but you could play again here at home at Rose Hill Gym. Does that make it any more extra special to reach this postseason that you'll get to play that game here at home?
Of course it does. We all want to play at home. We all want to play at home. We play our best basketball at home. And hopefully our fans come out, be here to support us. It's just we give a better advantage at home. Everybody loves playing at home. It's just a better feeling than being on the road. So hopefully we take care of business tomorrow and get the W and just keep playing well.
Senior forward Ryan Rhoomes here on this edition of Rams Roundup, a postseason edition with the CIT coming up against Boston University. Ryan, thank you much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
A big thanks to Fordham head coach Jeff Neubauer and senior forward Ryan Rhoomes as they joined us on this week's Rams Roundup ahead of their CIT matchup with Boston University. The Terriers coming to the Bronx at Rose Hill Gym, 7 p.m. tip Wednesday night. You can catch it online, stream it at watchcollegeinsider.com. You can listen live at 90.7 FM or online, WFUVsports.org. For any more information on Wednesday night's CIT game between Fordham and Boston University, head to fordhamsports.com. For this postseason edition of Rams Roundup, I'm Matt Moro.